We're going to paint some skeletons, so we're going to try out Contrast Skeleton Horde over our, I don't know why I'm doing it there, should be doing it here. Contrast Skeleton Horde over our skeletons, so we've got a mixture of Wargames Atlantic skeletons and Citadel, Games Workshop, Deathrattle Skeletons, and we're going to try the Skeleton Horde over the top of this undercoat, which is the new TT Combat PHR Bone Spray, which we did a little YouTube video on the other day of us using on these guys. So we're going to try contrast paint over the top, and I've got my contrast medium on hand, but I'm going to start off and just put it on neat on the top. Hi there, Mr. Perks. So I've got 23 skeletons altogether that we're going to do, and then I've got a little backup project as well over here on the side. So I'm not going to be too neat because I'm just going to undercoat the guys, the boys and girls even, and see where we get to. So how is everyone? Hope you've all had a great day. Thanks for joining us.
Mr. Peck says he doesn't normally use contrast paint. Do you?
No, no, I don't know. When we first got them, when they first got released, we got a full set, so we could try them out, and we have only really used them to any great degree for demo purposes, and either letting other people try them out, or like this, where someone specifically asked how these new spray primers from TT Combat handle contrast. So we'd undercoated these guys. So I'd recommended, seeing as nowhere can get hold of any Wraithbone from undercoat from Games Workshop. Now let me just show you that guy. I think that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good on there. It's like,
he's only got half a head.
Yeah, he's only got half a head. Yeah. There's.
Which skeletons are them then?
So he's a Games Workshop skeleton. One of the Deathrattle Skeleton warriors, and one of these guys, where is he? This one made a little bit of a boo-boo with this guy. I didn't realise until the other day, after I'd already undercoated him, that this guy has a scabbard, so I really should have given him a sword, but I'd given him a spear.
He'd lost his sword.
He's lost it since he was dead. He's lost it. Yeah. No, we don't really use contrast at all. Only for demo purposes or whatever. But yeah, somebody asked us, and I recommended the PHR Bone as an alternative to Games Workshop Wraithbone spray as an undercoat. So because I think the customer was intending on using some contrast paints for whatever project he was working on. So I said, well, I'll tell you what, I will paint the skeletons that I'm going to paint using the contrast as a base, and then we'll see how it works, and then you'll know. So here we are. We're going to when we're recording this, so we'll put it up on YouTube in a day or two. So if you're watching back, or you want to watch back through Twitch, you can see what it's like. And I'm just using it neat out of the pot. I was going to try watering it down, or mixing it with the contrast medium, which I must say I haven't really had much experience with either. So we might try that in a minute on one of these others. But I'm quite impressed really with how well it's covering, and hopefully you can all see it all right. I've put this little bit of cardboard on my painting mat because I didn't want to splash contrast paint, or brown Skeleton Horde contrast paint, all over me nice green painting mat. Yep, there we go. So one distinction between the Deathrattle Skeleton Warriors from Games Workshop and the Wargames Atlantic Skeletons is the Deathrattle guys definitely, and I don't know if this kit's going to be phased out with the announcement of the new models for the Soul Blight, but these guys, they've definitely got more battle damage and decay going on than the Wargames Atlantic Skeletons that you will see shortly. However, you get 10 models in the box from GW, and so on the current box set, the Deathrattle guys, I think the price of the box is something like £20. Could be wrong, but Mrs. MLG might check it for me.
What are they called?
Deathrattle Skeleton Warriors. So yeah, you get like 10 guys in the box, or with the Wargames Atlantic Skeletons, I think you get 32.
I've got these ones.
Yeah, that's those ones.
Yeah, that you sold out of.
Have we?
Yeah.
Oh, we've got some more arriving on our delivery this week.
They should be £20, but obviously we're selling at 16.
Yeah, so the RRP is £20, but we at Mighty Lancer Games they're £16, and you get 10 models in the box. But the Wargames Atlantic Skeletons, they are £25, but you get enough parts to make 32 models. So it's a bit of a difference, but you'll see. I'll show you when I've finished undercoating these GW ones. In fact, the next model I'm going to pick up is a Wargames Atlantic one. So I'll show you them next to each other, because I based one of them on the same style basis. You might notice as I'm going through these that I've based them on two different. Oh, can you see that splatter starting to appear on my mat? That's why I use this bit of cardboard, because the contrast paint is very easy to flick it around in your painting area if you're not careful, and I'm not being that careful. So yeah, you can see the size difference between the two as well. So depending on what you're looking for in your skeletons, and there are some awesome plastic skeletons available at the moment. So there's obviously these two kits which we've got here. There's the Oathmark plastic skeleton kit from North Star, which are very similar kind of skeletons in a variety of equipment and armour. And then there's the excellent value Mantic option. So this guy on the right here, he's a Wargames Atlantic skeleton. Now this chap I've got, hang on, let's get one that stood a bit more upright. So on the left is the Games Workshop skeleton, on the right is the Wargames Atlantic skeleton. So you can see how the proportions are slightly different. So this chap is definitely taller, and his head is probably, his skull is probably twice the size, regardless of the fact that this guy's missing a chunk. But if you look at the proportions, the eye sockets and what have you, this chap is he's definitely bigger. But when you've got models lined up on the table, or you're playing with multiple things, so these guys are going to get used for a variety of uses in like tabletop RPGs and good old Frostgrave that I'm on a bit of a mission for at the moment, and a couple of other different games. I'm not really too worried about the size difference, so because at the end of the day we're all different sizes, aren't we? So it doesn't really matter if they're not all uniform. So
no, that one looks loads better, says Pete the Ghost.
Yeah, so it's just depends on your personal taste. I know some people who've built entire armies out of the Wargames Atlantic skeletons. The weapons are a little bit more, depending on your liking of models or your style. If you've always known kind of like the GW, the Citadel style, these guys probably look a bit weird. But the weapons are more Bronze Age type stuff, and when you see one of them with a helmet shortly, you'll see that, and the shields are all very like Greek style round shields. I think they look really cool, but they've got their place. I think you wouldn't want to be maybe mixing a whole load of these guys because of the weapon options. You wouldn't want to be mixing a whole load of these chaps in with your Games Workshop skeleton army. So, and that's why I built a combination of the two, really, so we could kind of show off the comparison. Across the various different ranges, so I mentioned the Mantic skeletons, you can get an amazing value box of skeletons made by Mantic Games. So we just got a delivery yesterday where we got a vast restock of the zombies and the skeletons from Mantic. And from Mantic you can buy from there's a skeleton horde box that makes 40 models, and I think that's about £25–26, something like that. It's really great value, but their proportions are different again. They're definitely lend themselves more to the Kings of War type large units. They're a bit slimmer and their poses are a little bit more static. Whereas like the Games Workshop and the Wargames Atlantic ones here definitely seem to be lurching forward for action, which is why I've used these guys really, because I want them to be individually based for our RPG sessions and what have you. I did consider using just the Reaper bones skeletons that comes in like the packs of 3. And just getting 2 or 3 packs of different ones to get a bit of variety of pose, but then I decided that really I wanted more individuality. So when you're sticking individual arms and heads and weapon options on your guys, you can put them in any pose you like. I figured that they would look a little bit better to my eye. I think this is going on great. What are you painting over there, my lovely? A bear? Oh yeah. Mrs. MLG is painting the bear from the Animal Companions or Companion Animals Reaper Bones pack for her mini of the day, as well as answering everybody in chat because I can't concentrate on multiple things at once.
Mr. Peck says he's blasting through them.
Yeah, no messing.
That's what contrast paint's good for.
Yeah, I think so. It's very much just like a thick ink wash. So I'm just going to I'm just laying it on. I've possibly gone a little bit thick on some of them in terms of like chest cavities and stuff, but as these are disposable monsters, shall we say, rather than individual character figures, I'm not worried too much. Powering through, they'll get a bit more attention with armour and stuff later. So this is a oh look, he's got a bit of face in there. This is one of the Games Workshop ones still. So this is some of the options that come on the Deathrattle sprue, so you can make like a unit leader. So he's got a bit more equipment going on, and then you get enough parts to make a standard bearer, which I didn't bother with, or a musician for your units.
Mr. Peck says that you're a lot taller than him, and that his other half says that he's a real boyfriend and he's short. So now Goblin Squire Creations intrigued by everybody's height.
Alright.
You're quite tall though, aren't you?
Well, yeah, possibly. I'm 5'10".
Have you shrunk?
Yeah, I've lost an inch somewhere along the way. Somewhere between the last 10 years, I think I've lost an inch or whatever. Used to be 5'11", but I think expanded around the waistline and lost it in height.
I'm definitely shrinking.
Yeah, you reckon?
Yeah, especially if you're shrinking too. I'm even smaller now then.
I didn't think like Mr. Perks isn't short when I met him.
It says he's a mere 5'8".
Yeah, that's not short.
But his other half is 5'10", you think?
Well.
That's more that your other half's tall.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I used to be 5'8" and now I'm 5'7".
So if you just tell her that, assuming, yeah. Anyway, so in older times, like a 5'8" man would have been very tall.
Goblin's Vibrations wins. It's a 6 foot.
Oh well.
It'd be alright in our house because you always put things too tall for the rest of us, don't you? Now when you put the hook up for the keys and things and no one else can reach them now because you've put them at your height.
Yeah, I don't know. It happens in the shop as well because obviously I do the decide where things are going, so I put stuff on shelves and everybody else needs ladders to get them. So we have to have a step ladder all out like in each stock room.
That's just because she's got too much stuff.
Well, yeah, that too. That too.
Oh, you see, Goblin's Creation's been very kind and he's playing D&D at the same time but still has the stream on. That's very kind.
Oh, yeah. That's cool. What D&D are you playing? Is it a Roll20 type situation?
You've got to hydrate, Pete the Priest says so. What have you got today for hydration purposes?
Oh, for hydration purposes, we've got a Stella Artois glass with Guinness in it. Because Mrs. MLG has been using all the pint glasses for water.
Oh, sorry.
It's alright.
Oh no, GG. Little one's in bed.
What?
Yeah, you've started drinking Guinness more lately, haven't you?
Yes.
You know me like Hobgoblin and things like that, but...
It's because I'm tight.
Was it on offer?
And it was on offer in Aldi. And when I went to do the shopping the other day, I thought, I'm having some of that.
Did you not want that one anymore?
No.
So what do you reckon to these TT's combat sprays now then?
I think they're excellent. Yeah, I'm impressed by the way that this is going on. Whether that's just, I don't know, because I'm blathering it on, but I think it looks pretty good. We'll see what they're like when they start drying, but I think they're going to be great. And the sprays function exactly like you would hope or expect them to. The ones that I've used so far, at least. The colours are great. This is like really strong bone colour. Excuse me. The black's absolutely fantastic. We will in the near future have a different black spray to show off as well. Oh, this is something I forgot to tell you.
Oh, you don't tell me anything.
Yeah, so I've ordered some stuff from that other place that I mentioned to you. We'll keep it top secret for now.
Oh,
But I've ordered some of the bits and pieces from that other.
Why are you keeping it secret? You should tell her.
Yeah, well. So there is a company that's recently started opening up, doing a little bit of distribution.
Oh right, yes, I know.
And one of the things that they've done, and I understand that they're doing more colours of undercoat and what have you, a bit like the TT ones now, so they're going to have a larger range of different colours and varnishes and all the rest of it. But they're having theirs produced in the UK, somewhere in the UK. And they're doing a 500 millilitre can of spray paint. And the RRP for that is going to be comparable with the Army Painter sprays. And we're going to be getting them soon, just as a different alternative. And so I've seen some in action today, which kind of made my mind up that we were going to get them. And it's a very, very matte finish, because often the Army Painter spray, in particular, and Chaos Black from Games Workshop, can sometimes come out more like a satin finish and still have a bit of shine. So I did have another matte, which we were going to use for when we did the painting on stream. And it's another one of these, but I've been using it for years, and it's covered in glue and other stuff. So I sprayed it black to try and get a good background, but because I did it with the Army Painter black, it just came out too shiny, and the reflection on the cameras was shocking. We couldn't use it, so that was something I thought. As soon as I saw this other spray today, the finished results, the finish is completely matte. I just thought, well, that's something that we've been needing for a while.
Cool.
So we've got that, and they've got some coloured sands and different finishes for basing, along with a range of quite affordable magnets and other bits and pieces. I know people are always looking out for magnets, and some of the options available are a little bit pricey, but these seem quite affordable. Hopefully we might receive it before the end of the week.
Is that another job for me?
It will be, I'm afraid.
So, do you want to just do a quick recap on what you're actually doing, sweetheart?
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, if you've joined us recently while I've been painting, so this is, or these guys are, and this chap. Here, let me show you these. So these are a combination of skeletons. So this is a Wargames Atlantic skeleton. This is a GW Deathrattle skeleton, and these are undercoated with the TT Combat PHR bone. There's one that's been freshly sprayed, so you can see I've not quite lathered his base in paint, but these have been undercoated with PHR bone, which is a great alternative, I think, to Wraithbone undercoat spray from GW. And what we're doing is we're just using some Skeleton Horde contrast paint to get these guys base coated effectively, ready for a bit more detail and highlighting, and which I'm going to do mostly on the bone side of things by dry brushing. Depending on how they dry, I think that's going to be the way. And they've all got some shields. I'm going to paint the shields separately. I've not stuck them on, so I could get into all the crevices. So we're just getting these guys ready, and then once I've worked my way through these while waiting for them to dry, I've got a troll that we're going to make a start on for if I can get it finished before the end of the month and submit it in time. I'm going to submit to the Reaper Challenge League, which you might be aware of from Reaper Miniatures, that they're running on their Discord channel, which I crazily last night decided I was going to participate in. Don't know why I left it until there's 4 days of the month left, but hey. Oh yeah, matte spray, Mr. Perks. Yeah, it's really, really matte black. So it looks absolutely fantastic.
Do we know if the TT Sabre, how do you say it?
Sabre Silver
is actually like a metallic silver or just like a grey?
No, I've not tried it, but looking at the cap, because the paint finishes on the caps of the cans, I believe, are indicative of what's in it. I think it is a metallic rather than being a flat colour.
It doesn't say on their website.
No, so we did a little video yesterday, just a short, where I. Haven't you? Oh, right.
I put it on Facebook and stuff.
Okay. So we did a little short which Mrs. MLG has put on Facebook and stuff yesterday that shows the colour comparison between the Army Painter sprays and the colours that I thought the TT Combat closest comparisons are. Now we do know, because I have been told by the guys at TT, that these sprays, their sprays, are manufactured in the same factory as might be putting my foot in it. He didn't tell me to keep it a secret, but that they're manufactured in the same factory as the Army Painter sprays, which most people would probably guess as soon as they saw the cans side by side because of the same design, the same size, what have you. So they perform very much the same. I would guess that the formula of the paint is extremely similar, if not the same. And the colours, there's slight shade variation, obviously, because I'm sure that the Army Painter have probably got them to commit to having an independent recipe for their paints, but they're very, very similar, some of the colours. So there's a comparison for Caliban Green, well, not Caliban Green, is it? Angel Green, which is an almost direct replacement for Caliban Green that you used to be able to get spray from GW, and there's a necrotic flesh and a desert yellow and what have you, those kind of colours. There's an almost exact takeoff of those, and like an ultramarine style colour, poster boy blue. And when I first heard the name, I thought like, oh, that must be like a Fallout related thing. It didn't really dawn on me that it would be ultramarine blue, but by a different name, seeing as the ultramarines are the poster boys of GW, aren't they? That's just occurred to me yesterday while I was lining all the paints up.
Naz says, how do skeletons blow trumpets? Got no lungs, have they?
No, how do they stand up anyway? That's like they're all magic, aren't they?
Magic trumpet blowing.
Yeah, magic trumpet blowing. Yeah, it's one of those fantasy mysteries.
So, GG doesn't really know a huge amount about the contrast paint because he was asking like what you were using, etc. Okay. Is there any information you can give us about contrast paints? There's quite a huge range, isn't there?
There is 30 or 40 colours, is there? Maybe? I don't know, I can't remember how many there is. We've got one of each in the box. I can't remember if I've ever counted them. But yeah, there's quite a range of contrast paints, and these are very similar, I understand, to products that are available from a couple of other companies, although I've not used those myself. Like I think the Intensity inks from Green Stuff World or something similar. Now what they are is like a very heavy wash in my experience. So as you can see here, it's a pigment heavy wash really, and it just kind of settles itself into the recesses, and you have to really, if you're doing it on a large flat surface, you couldn't paint a Space Marine with these things really without managing the colour a lot to get it to not pool on flat surfaces. So if I like do some on there, well, so you see how it kind of sits on the flat area, and it really works best over something that's got a lot of surface detail. So they're ideal for skeletons or lizard creatures, so lizard folk or anything that's got a lot of fur. I would say they're ideal for. And I have seen some people paint Space Marines and other things with them over different undercoats and get some really super fantastic results. I had a bit of a dabble myself of painting a couple of Space Marines after I'd seen somebody else's pictures. So if you use a bright silver undercoat, like so I'd airbrushed a couple of figures with a Vallejo steel, which is a really bright silver colour, and then painted the contrast paint over the top on the Space Marine army. You get really nice metallics colours, which look great. But like I say, on the flat surfaces, so on your Space Marine, you've got your shoulder pads and knee guards and whatever. You really need to manage the colour, because otherwise it pulls and it just looks a bit poop. So yeah, contrast heavy paints that kind of self shade, if you like, so you can just, like I'm doing here, lather it on and then go back and just do a little edge highlight, or not even bother with the highlight, and you can paint whole figures in very little time at all. So there's lots of standard colours. There's no metallics in the range, but there's a apothecary white, which is kind of like an off-white grey, which a lot of people use for painting stormtroopers and clone troopers for Legion. So they undercoat them with a white and then paint this apothecary white over the top to get the shading on the armour. And there's a black, what's the black called? Black Templar, I think it is just called Black Templar, which is a really dark grey, but a couple of coats of it make a nice solid black. There's 3 or 4 greens in various shades, and several browns and flesh colours. There's some really nice blues. There's a really nice bright blue called Talisar Blue, which looks absolutely fab over that silver undercoat to make some nice metallic-y coloured ultramarines. They look great. One of my personal favourite colours is Caliban Green, which makes a nice metallic-y blue-green colour, perfect for Alpha Legion if you were painting Space Marines. And yeah, there's like enough paints, enough colours in the range to do just about anything you want, really. And then if you couple those with if you add in like Hexwraith Flame and Nighthaunt Gloom and Tesseract Glow to the range, which are pretty much the same products in terms of formula as far as I can gather, you've got you've probably got about 45 colours maybe, or something like that. And they work well over different undercoats. So Games Workshop market Grey Seer and Wraithbone as the undercoats that you should use with the contrast paint, but they go really well over white and like silvers. So if you use such as like the Army Painter or now the TT plate mail silver or this saber silver, you can get some great shades. And even over slightly darker greys you can get some like good results. Lead Belch is possibly a little dark for them, but any kind of nice light coloured undercoat and you can get some really nice colours out of them. But yeah, they really work best on something that's got a lot of detail, so it can shade itself. And you can use the contrast medium, which I haven't actually used. Now I've blasted through all my skeletons and I haven't tried this, but contrast medium, you use this for thinning it. If you want to get like a even thinner coat, use contrast medium to like mix it up. But I knew that I'd be using plenty. Excuse me. Knew I'd be using plenty of colour to get those on. So I didn't want to try and mix it on a palette because I knew it would just be wedging through it really. Skeletons use bellows. Am I reading this right? Is this skeleton horde contrast you're using now? It looks so different compared to the pot colour. Unless it's a coloured pot and not a clear one. Oh no, it is a clear pot. So it is a clear pot. You can, I don't know if you can see it like sloshing around in there. But yeah, it is a clear pot, and the colour inside, obviously, because it's very dense in there. But in fact, I'll just brush a bit onto the thing there. You see how kind of thinned out it is once you've got it like spread out. It just looks dark in the pot because there's a lot of it. That's all. No, it doesn't matter if you're a novice, GG, because you only get better by practice and watching other people and deciding what you're going to try, I think, is the thing.
You need to sort out the order then. GG's put the order in, you need to sort it out.
Yes. Yeah, well, I've got the other thing ready. Right then, so while our skeletons are drying, and to be fair, that's one of the first ones I did, and it's almost dry. So while they're drying, I'm just going to move over to this guy, which is a two-headed troll from Reaper, and I can't remember the code because he's a fairly new figure.
How does it compare to the army painter Strongtown? We've got some of that kicking about somewhere, haven't we?
Yeah. So the strong tone and the dark tone are they're okay.
If you get some, then you can put it on there.
Yeah.
You talk about your troll.
Okay, right. So this guy is a two-headed troll. So I've decided last night that I was gonna join the Reaper Challenge League. Crazy. I don't know why. I think just like putting myself under pressure, I think. So decided I was going to try and get a couple of bigger models in. I've been painting models all month, so submitted a few that I've already done. And Mrs. MLG showed me how to submit my models and what have you onto the Discord page. So I had a bit of a think about it overnight and then decided that I was going to paint this guy to be part of a diorama. I think he's pretty cool. So he comes with two alternate weapons, which come with two different pairs of hands. And you can either have him this one where he's got a rock, or you can have the one where he's going to throw a pig, which is pretty cool. So we've got some Army Painter tones. Thank you. Right then, so this is our skeleton horde here. I suppose we'll have to get a mixing palette. I can see the top of my bald head. Right then, so this is light tone. That's light tone. So let's try a bit of that. So that's redder. There we go. Right. Been putting mixing balls in our paints as we go along. And then, so this is soft tone. Let's put that there. What's this one? This is dark tone, which is like an almost black. Don't know whether that's maybe a comparison for a null noil. Yeah, I would say so. Don't really use these, to be fair. What's that?
The light was reflecting in your eyes. It looked like you had a red eye and turned like a demon.
Oh, and this is flesh wash. Have we not got any strong tone?
I'll write you what we had.
Oh, we must not have any strong tone, though. Yeah. So, and this one is flesh wash.
Unless you've
No,
put it somewhere else because you haven't put it away.
no, I don't think so. I don't think so. So that's the range of, apart from strong tone, which we don't appear to have. I thought we had some more. No, it's all right. It's fine. So this is the skeleton horde in the middle, and then
But the wash.
we've got light tone, soft tone, dark tone, and flesh wash.
But the tones will be different in contrast, though, aren't they? Aren't they like a different makeup?
I think which one? The light tone is quite similar to the skeleton horde, but yeah, the skeleton horde's definitely going to be like a thicker blend or something, isn't it? Right. What am I doing? So I'm going to zap some paint onto this troll. Now, what I'm going to, while I'm waiting for my skeletons to dry, so what I'm going to do with this is I want him to have quite purplish skin. So we're just going to use a bit of Reaper Purple.
Oh, I see. So on the website, the skeleton horde contrast paint looks really milky.
Oh, yeah, it does, yeah.
So GG was like, "Are you sure that's the right one?"
Ah, right.
Because it does. It looks really milky, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That doesn't look anything like it.
No.
But that's the right one, though, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. So this is some Twilight Purple, I think it is. Twilight Purple? Yeah, Twilight Purple. And then I'm just going to mix a bit of white into it. Make it a bit paler. And I'm going to use a skanky old brush to mix those in. Get a little bit of water. Yeah, beautiful. I was gonna try and be all technical, and then I just thought, I don't know, let's blast it together. So might just put a drop of grey into that. Have you got a grey in reach? Could I have your grey?
Do you want stone grey? Is
Yeah,
that too dark?
that'll do. That'll do. Technical paint mixing here, if you can see this.
Yeah,
Sorry, nearly left it over here. So
what's your plan with this guy?
So this is, we're going to do most of his skin in this colour, and then where he's got his exposed chest at the front that hasn't got like the kind of bobbly, so most of his skin's got this kind of bobbly texture, and here on his chest where he's got like his exposed chest area and his face and the insides of his arms and what have you, I'm going to go for a different shade. But this guy's going to be stood, he's part of the diorama, and the thing that he's going to be stood on is a little scenery piece, which, let's see if I can just reach it. Here we go. So we've got this little scenery piece here, which is part of a oh, there we go. So this was from the Bones 4 Kickstarter. I don't know if and when this thing's going to be released to retail, but I've had it in the box for some time, and so this guy, he's going to be mounted on here, and he's going to have like a little battle scene with a figure or two. So I'm just going to paint this purple on. Now this might seem a bit bright, but this isn't going to be the finished colour. I'm just getting this on as a base, and then we're going to lighten it up from here. So I am going to paint this onto his chest as well. I'm going to paint this on all the skin areas, and then we'll go over and sort those other bits out after. But it'll be easier to blend from this out to whatever other colour we're going to use. So I've been painting for a long time, but still learn new techniques. I watched a great video the other day of Angel Giraldez, however you pronounce his name, that Spanish chap. I think he's Spanish. Yeah, I know. Shocking. Yeah, it was a great video where he's wet blending on I think it was painting in Games Workshop Rockgut Troggoth, and says like wet blending on the skin. It looked absolutely phenomenal, but I'd just be frightened to death of putting as much paint on as he was. But he was doing it so he could blend all the colours together, and yeah, it'd be a bit nerve-wracking. Might practice that on a model that I'm not trying to paint in a set time period. Right, I'm just going to paint all that guy's face. So this is another kind of like tester for me. I've not really used flat brushes before, so this is a bit of a test out with this flat-ended brush. All the years I've been painting, and I've never really used a flat brush for anything. And only probably about this time last year, a customer asked me what you would use a flat brush for, and I just thought like, dry brushing. But I'm trying to expand my painting horizons after all these years.
Mr. Peck says, it's what makes the hobby fun. Learning new things.
Oh yeah. I completely agree with you there.
You've got to learn all these new things so that you can tell me.
Yeah, we're gonna learn a new skill together, aren't we? We're gonna.
If we ever get time, we'll watch that video.
Yeah, we're gonna do a tutorial thing. Not that we're going to produce it. We're going to watch somebody's tutorial about painting fur in or creating fur effects where there isn't a fur pattern, and do it. So that should be pretty good.
It could go terribly wrong, but then
we could, but we'll
be right.
Yeah.
And if we printed some minis to practice on.
Yep. So that should be pretty cool. Give that a go. We might show you all our results.
There you go.
Yeah, if it's anything like when we went on the sculpting course, yours will be awesome. And mine will be abysmal.
No. You just decided that you were going to do something absolutely humongous for the first time we'd ever tried, and try and get it done in the short time we had.
Yeah.
And you ran out of time.
Well, I did, yeah.
Even what was the gentleman who was doing it? What was he called?
Alex.
Yeah, even he said like, are you sure? Because probably won't have enough time for that. And you're like, yeah, it'd be fun, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yep.
And then you said, oh, it's alright, because I can finish it at home, and it's been in a drawer for about 7 years.
It's not been there that long.
Well, it's not going to be far off.
No, I suppose. Yeah. This guy looks like some kind of alien.
Is that what you were going for? Alien troll?
No. I'd say it looks really bright, but he's not going to finish it.
Really
He's not going to finish up this colour, so it'll all be fine. I've got as I've been thinking about different things overnight while I was laying awake when I woke up this morning, I couldn't be bothered to get out of bed straight away. It was cold when I stuck my leg out. but the sun was shining, so I knew it was time to be awake. So I was thinking about different things, thinking about some different models, and thinking about the Reaper range. And yeah, I've kind of forgotten about loads of figures. There's like the range is obviously massive now, absolutely phenomenal. Some of the Bones figures and some of the new figures to come from like the latest Kickstarter that they've done. When some of those get to us for retail sales and what have you, they're going to be awesome. And even some of the ones that they've not released yet from the previous Kickstarter, like that little terrain piece that I've got there. There's some absolutely fantastic models, and they're great prices, very affordable for what they are, size wise. So this chap, can you look him up for me while you're tippy tapping on the thing? The two-headed troll. I can't remember what his code number is.
Oh,
I know.
Has he got a name?
I'm sure he is just down as two-headed troll.
Okay, I'll look.
I think he's like a new version of one of the older metal figures, which he's called Lard Gulp, I think, in the metal range. That's him. That's the boy. 44120. And how much is he, this chap?
Well, he should be £9.08, but obviously our price is £8.19. And then you get those two options, don't you? The pig and the rock. So
yeah, so this chap, like full price from Reaper, is £9 and a few pence, £9 and 8 pence. But if you come to Mighty Lancer Games, he's £8 and 19 pence. £8.19 pence. And he does come with a moulded base, which he would be quite stable on, and I removed him from that because I wanted him to sit on my diorama. So I've stuck him onto this Citadel base for now, because I want to be able to paint him. And I was waiting for my super glue to dry. I want to paint him on a painting handle like this. So
looks like he's having fun now. He's all purple.
Yeah, I like it. So he's looking alright actually. Quite like him. So he's got like a dragon head loincloth thing going on down here. You can see that, and a couple of other bits and pieces, a bit of chain there. It's got some different stuff going on here. Two different heads, miserable looking troll heads. I like him, he's cool. I'm going to stick him over there out of the way. And we've undercoated him, and then let's have a look at our skellies and see where we are with those.
We're getting a new and improved website soon as well, aren't we?
We are getting a new and improved website soon. What's prompted that one? Has somebody asked a question?
No, I was just thinking, because we can put on people's pictures, can't we?
Ah, yes. Yeah. So we've got a new web. Oh, it's nearly an hour already. Wow, where does the time go? So we've got a new and improved website launching soon. So there's still a bit of wet painting, still a bit of the contrast paint wet. But
I'm really confused with that. New and improved website started soon. It's still a bit wet. It's like I painted it.
Yeah. So let me leave a skeleton there, and I'll just talk about the website for a bit while possibly it might dry. No, they're all still too wet, but we'll show those off. So we've got a new and improved website coming soon. Which we're going to launch at the start of April, and it's got some fantastic new features and a bit of a crisper design, and like I say, a few new features. And one of those new features, we've got a gallery where you can submit photos to us of your painted minis with a little description, and we will upload them into our gallery on the website. And if we'll also put your pictures into the product pages and show them, so when somebody clicks on Wargames Atlantic Skeletons, your picture of a Wargames Atlantic Skeleton will be featured in the product images with a little line of text or two to say that you've painted it and what it is and what have you. So your work can be immortalised on the Mighty Lancer Games website. Let other people know what these kits can produce, which I think is a great idea. But in the meantime, if you would like to send us some pictures of your work and we'll get them loaded up for when the website launches, then please feel free to email us photos of your painted minis with a little description of each one, if you can, over to mightylancergames@gmail.com. That would be really great. We'd like as many as possible, and then we can get them all uploaded on the website for when it goes live. We've got some photos already, so thank you to everybody that's already submitted some. But we would like more, and it could be anything and everything from Games Workshop, Reaper miniatures, Frostgrave, what else? Anything, Bolt Action, Discworld minis, Hornby train stuff. There was a chap the other day who's one of our regular customers, and he sent us some images of some Black Seas by Warlord Games, the little frigate things. So the ships are about, I don't know, anywhere between an inch and 2 or 3 inches long. And they've got rigging and all these other features to them, sailing ships of the 1700s or whatever, and they look absolutely fantastic. He's done an amazing job of painting these things and doing all the little rigging and rat lines and what have you on them. Look awesome. So these guys, they're going to take a little bit longer to dry. I might leave them to dry overnight, but you can see so PHR bone undercoat, which is like a wraith bone undercoat, and then the neat skeleton horde over the top. That's given us a really nice sort of dirty brown bone colour to our skeletons. So the next stage after this, once they're all dry, will be a quick dry brush over the top with a lighter bone colour. Not going to go too bright, but maybe a aged bone or something like that from Reaper. So we'll just give a little dry brush over with that, just to pick out a little bit of the higher detail, and then painting the weapons in, and then we'll be on to doing bases and other little embellishments. So such as some of the guys, like this Games Workshop chap here, he's got a little bit of cloth flapping around his belt and his helmet and what have you. So we'll just pick all those bits out and then we'll get the bases done. So these are Renedra 25mm round paved bases, which you get something like 40 or 50 bases, maybe even 60 bases in a pack for about £4 from us. They're available on the website now, and they're great, and they come in 25mm round, 20mm square. You can get some 32mm round, and they come in bigger sizes as well, 60mm and what have you. We've got some of those available on the website. If you look for paved bases, you'd find those, and they're quite thin as well. They're excellent. So if your figure doesn't have a tab like these Wargames Atlantic figures do, that's why I've based them separately, different things. So these guys don't come with a tab on their feet, the Games Workshop guys, and wherever he is, one of the models out of the Wargames Atlantic box doesn't have a tab on his feet. He's just got bare feet like the GW one. So he's a Wargames Atlantic Skelly based on that style base, and he's the only one of that pose that I constructed so far at the box set. but the rest of the Wargames Atlantic guys come with these plastic tabs on. So rather than chop them all off those plastic tabs, I've stuck them on these Rubicon bases that I like. So these are another great thing that for £1.50 or £2 or whatever, you get like 25 of these in a bag. And they've got this nice dish, so it's like double-sided. They've got these little blob holes in, so it your basing material adheres to them really well. But the other thing I like about them is they've got this lip to them, so when you, for example, like this guy with his little plastic tab, when you put your basing material in on here, you can build it up level with the tab on the base. So my plan with these is I'm going to use some smooth filler type material, and then once it's semi-dry, I'm going to scrape into it with a flagstone type pattern, so they'll all roughly match on those, and that should come up alright. Now I've got some that I've already prepared, but I can't remember where I've put them. So I've done some of these bases already. So these Rubicon bases come in 32mm, 40mm and 60mm sizes, and I've done some of the, I think, 40mm size ones to base some rust monsters on, some Reaper rust monsters that don't come on the bases, which are these. So this is a Reaper rust monster, or oxidization monster beast or something like that it is. So I've got 4 or 5 of these guys, but they don't come with any kind of base. So I've got these like 40mm bases in this style that I've put filler in and then made into the flagstone pattern, just with a old paintbrush without an end on. So I've just made a rough flagstone pattern, and then these guys, once they're painted, they're going to be glued onto the top of those bases so they can be part of our dungeon, and I think they're going to look pretty cool. So that's something that we're going to be doing in the not too distant future, painting rust monsters. Like I said, I've got 4 or 5 of those to go at. Yeah, I don't know.
It's 9 o'clock, my darling.
I know. I was just going to say that's it. We're kind of over our hour. So thanks everyone for watching. So our next official stream.
But when are we doing the
yeah.
exciting stuff?
So today we got a sample box sent over from a company called Spellcrow, which are a Polish-based, Poland-based company. Let's just So they're a company based in Poland, Spellcrow, and they make some awesome resin minis. So they sent us a sample box of stuff through today. So what we thought we would do is, should we do it tomorrow night? Have we got anything on tomorrow night? Would we be clashing with anybody else's schedule that we like?
If we did it with Little Miss before she went to bed, then I don't think that we would.
Okay, so what sort of time?
But we'll have to check and see. I don't know when Hamish is on and stuff.
Okay, so we'll have a little check and we'll post out on Facebook and Twitter and all the rest of it, and then we're going to... oh, that sounds excellent, Mr. Perks. Yes, please. So yeah, we'll have a little check, and then we'll let you all know via the various social medias how we're going to... or what time we're going to do it, and then we'll show you all the contents of this box that Spellcrow have sent us to give us an idea of their products.
And then we can see if you think we should stock it on.
Yeah, which, you know, we'd be interested in seeing what you think. It's quite a varied selection, and the resin minis look absolutely fantastic. There's a couple of copies of a book and some other bits and pieces, so we'll go through those, and some of these things are in sealed boxes and we haven't opened those yet, so it'll be exciting to go through those and see what's included. So, and then our next official stream will be Sunday at 4 PM, where we'll be playing Skyrim for an hour or so, and then back on Monday for another mini out of our sub box.
You're going to do the Orc? That was the second spirited, I do believe.
Okay, yeah. So we'll do the Orc. Slasher, was it a slasher? I can't remember, but there's an Orc mini which we put in our sub box, So we'll make a start on him on Monday, which should be pretty cool. And then back next Wednesday, where we'll possibly carry on with these skeletons. So thanks everybody for watching. Really appreciate you taking time out of your evening to come and just check us out, splatting some paint on stuff. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your night. Take it easy, and thanks.